Good evening, everyone, and welcome back to BYJU'S Exam Prep. My name is 𝗟𝗲𝗴𝗹, and here we go with our CLAT 2024 crash course, your very first class for English. I hope I am clearly audible and visible to everyone watching me live in the app. Send me done if you can hear and see me clearly, everyone. On YouTube, I already have got confirmation from all of you. तो बहुत 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 कम दिन बचे हैं एंड आई हैव अ फ्यू क्लासेस फॉर यू आइडिया क्या होगा क्लासेस में कैसे पूरा रिवीजन कवर अप करेंगे लेट मी मेक इट वेरी वेरी क्लियर टू ऑल ऑफ यू ओके so the idea is that across the 4 or 5 classes that I have in the next 1 month I am going to be starting off with today's class where I am going to be discussing those common issues you guys face that is a deterrent for you to score well in RC. Okay, so I'm going to be talking about what your correct approach should be so that you're able to read a passage effectively. I'll be specifically focusing on how to read a passage that is effective so that you're able to read it fast, you're able to retain information and retain the correct information that's required to answer the questions correctly. And over the course of the next few classes, we are going to be talking about how to attempt the questions correctly. What are the frequently asked questions? What should our approach be to getting them correct? So today's session focuses on what should your approach be while you are reading an extract that ensures that you've understood a passage, that ensures that you're able to answer them correctly. आप किसी भी लेवल को आओ, आपका इंग्लिश स्ट्रेंथ है या आपका इंग्लिश वीकनेस है या आपका इंग्लिश mediocre section है, top 2 में आता है, bottom 2 में आता है, wherever you are, okay? Just a minute, yes. So wherever you are, you're able to read a passage effectively, okay? All righty. So let's begin with the session, everyone. Here we go. So these are the classes that I have. Today's class is the first one where we're going to be talking about how to read a passage effectively. Then we'll have most expected questions. What should your approach be? How to get them correct over the next few classes. Now, also we have our third All India Open Mock Analysis happening on 4th of November. That's Saturday, 11 a.m. onwards. So if you've given this mock, good job. Sit for this analysis and see how you could have scored better here. All of us are going to come together and analyze the mock. If you haven't given it, the mock is still available on our app. You can give it and see where you stand across thousands of kids. So first thing in today's class, what are we going to do? We'll see what should the correct approach be while you're reading an extract. ठीक है, तो 1 घंटा अभी सब कुछ भूल जाओ. Forget everything and precisely focus on what I'm trying to teach you. Okay, we will see how the techniques that I'm going to teach you can be applied to extracts. I'll start off with smaller extracts, then I'll gradually move on to longer ones. And then we will practice some questions. I also have a homework for you like Abhimanyu sir did. So let's begin. Now, okay, everyone, all your attention here. While you read an extract, what is that you're looking for? आपको जब एक passage मिलता है, एक reading comprehension मिलता है, एक unseen passage मिलता है, what is that is there in your mind while you start or reading the passage? What is there in your mind as an agenda while you read that? Everyone, I want your answers here. What is there in your mind while you read a page? आप क्या सोचते हो? आप क्या ढूंढते हो एक passage को पढ़ते time? What are you looking for? So Garima says author's claims, author's opinion. Don't answer it according to what you're supposed to find. Answer it according to what you do. Okay, main idea, most of you, the primary purpose of the passage. Keywords, absolutely. Most of you have answered it absolutely correctly. Because, oh yes, Rafan, it will help you. Yes. Keywords, message of the author. Absolutely correct. Author क्या कहना चाहता है? Understand the main idea, what the passage is about. Absolutely correct. While you start reading a passage, ideally, you should start off with an idea of it in your mind कि मुझे ये ढूंढना है कि author क्या बोलना चाह रहा है, what the author is trying to say across the passage, in a nutshell, what the main idea of the author is. But a lot of you struggle to find that. I'm sure a lot of you do. I've seen that in the classes happening. ठीक है, तो बहुत सारे लोग अभी भी struggle कर रहे हैं और ये struggle will not help you increase your scores. So the idea is इस struggle को कैसे minimize करें, क्या correct approach होना चाहिए अभी इस time पे. अभी अगर मैं passage पढूं तो मैं कौन सी lines पे focus करूं, कौन से words पे focus करूं, ठीक है. So I'm going to give you a brief of 4 pointers, and in the next page I'm going to be asking you to work on those 4 pointers in a paragraph I give you. So let's start off with the very first option. We need to know the difference between premise and argument. When I say you need to find out the main theme, you need to have an idea in your head that I have to know the main theme of the passage while I'm reading the passage. ये मेरे दिमाग में है, but मैं passage का main idea ढूंढने में I get confused. Why do I get confused? First question, a lot of people think this is the main theme. They're unable to differentiate between what is theory, what is explanation, and what is the claim made by the author. So we need to differentiate between that. Okay? Yes, that's exactly why, Prajal, we're going to be discussing that. Okay? Finding the main point. All right. तो देखते हैं कैसे इसको correct करते हैं. ठीक है? Premise क्या होता है? Argument क्या होता है? Let me reiterate that. I'm sure you've heard that multiple times, but I think a quick revision will help you get that better when we solve questions. Argument in a nutshell is what the author's claim is. Now, what is a claim? In a layman term, claim is one thing that the author is trying to put across through the passage. Alternatively, this could be called as an opinion of the author. Now see, if I have an opinion about you taking up a CBSE program or an IGSE program or an IB board program, I would promote one. And I would say, go take up IB board because it's more practical oriented. Is that my claim? And is that a personal opinion that I have? Probably others may disagree to it. Is that going to be my personal belief? Yes. You may disagree, ki ma'am, no, CBSE is more competitive exam oriented. It will prepare me for anything that I fight across my country. You might disagree to what I'm saying, है ना? लेकिन ये मेरा opinion है, ये मेरा claim है. And to support my claim that IB is a better board or IGSE is a better board or CBSE is a better board, I am going to give you reasons. The reasons will support my claim. The reasons are going to be my premise. The claim and opinions are going to be my argument. Most of your questions in today's session, most of your inference-based questions, main idea questions, are going to be coming out of these things. Your argument, your claim, your opinion of the author. आपका डिसएग्रीमेंट हो सकता है उसके साथ, लेकिन आपको देखना ऑथर ने ऐसी क्या बात बोली जिसको समझा रहा है वो पूरे पैसेज में, that he is trying to explain across the passage, that he is trying to support across the passage. All the reasons he gives you will be only a supporting pillar, but the roof that you have at the top, the conclusions, they will be a part of your argument of the author. Okay, one may disagree with the claim, but premise are facts. Karima, premise can be facts, premise can also be opinions. But remember, premise will be a supporting opinion to a bigger one, a supporting claim to a bigger one, if premise is an opinion. Okay? Most likely premise is going to be fact-based, but if it is opinion-based, it will be a subset. So, how it will be a subset? I have a bigger set, which is the main claim of the author, that IB is the best board. I will give you a small opinion that IB supports students more. That's my opinion, right? But then that's a subset. IB supporting students more is one claim that supports the bigger claim, IB being a better board. You see? So that's one opinion. I can support it with a fact as well, data as well, that students, 80% of the students who take up IB board turn out to be more successful in their lives. That's fact. This was opinion. Nonetheless, both were subsets to support the bigger claim that IB is a better board. So you can look at it that way, that a claim is a bigger set, that is argument. A premise is a subset. that will be given to support the bigger picture. Premise backs up an argument and justifies that. Absolutely correct. Now, how to ignore overthinking while reading para? Like while reading para, sometimes I start thinking about things which are going around me. See, Divyanshu, I think that's only a problem of concentration and nothing else. If you overthink about what the author is trying to say, that's something we can deal with. But if you're thinking about what others are doing around you, if you're thinking about what happened in the school, then I'll be very outright here. At this juncture, there needs to be a sense of urgency while you read a passage. Sense of urgency is, dude, jab main ye passage padh raha hu, while I'm reading this is my do or die. Every passage that I solve right now is going to make or break me. If that sense of urgency is there, your concentration will automatically come. It's like just 2 days before the exam, your grasping capacity, it just shoots up. Why? Because there's a sense of urgency. So you'll grasp more, you'll study more within lesser span of time, you will be able to concentrate better. That's because there's a sense of urgency. You need to work on that. How to work on sense of urgency? Reminding yourself that I have just 30 days left. My entire career, my entire graph for the next 20 years is going to be dependent on the next 30 days. Remind yourself that and then sit without distractions. That's one way of dealing with that. Second, if you deviate within the passage, overthink about over-inferring about what the passage says. That's what we're going to be dealing with in the class today. So stick with me. Okay? So, Garima says meditation, that's going to help as well. All right. So, getting back to the theme, premise and argument. Remember, we need to differentiate between them. I'll reiterate, premise will be your supporting reasons. What will these support? Your main argument. Your main argument will actually surmount to be your main idea, your theme. Anyone who still doesn't have an idea about what the main theme is, kaise dhoondte hain main theme, I've had multiple classes on a YouTube channel. You better watch that video after today's class. And hence, I am going to be reiterating that across the session as well today. Now, second thing, find keywords. I read a couple of chats in one of our Telegram groups where people said, while I read a passage, after I read a passage, I think we should make a chart or a summary of how things are going in the passage. You will not have so much time. CLAT is an exam of your speed. You cannot make a map in a physical form in your question paper after every passage. Every section will have that. You can't do that. At least English and CR will have 5 passages each, maybe 6 as well. And you can't make it for every passage. An easier way to deal with that is highlight keywords while you're reading a passage. Now, let me reiterate what keywords are. Okay? Keywords while making, okay. I just did that, Titiksha, I just did that. And then we have Swapnil saying while marking, I think that I marked the right one, but the answer key is wrong. We'll figure it out why that gets wrong. Okay? Everyone, okay. Back to keywords. Kaise mark karte? How do we find keywords? What are keywords? Keywords, simple, those words that you think are important. Important not because you don't know the meaning of them. Important because they are supporting the argument. That is an important word for me. Can I find 1, maybe 2, maybe 3 words across the page that will define what you can write that down, what the whole page is about. The whole page can be defined into 1 word, 2, maybe 3 at max. But remember, your keywords have to support this. While I do this exercise in the classes, I see some kids marking keywords that are associated to a premise. Remember, they will only lead us to factual questions. And factual questions are a cakewalk. You will always find them like you do that in your school. Most of the questions are going to be inference-based. They are going to be related to this. So keywords should be associated to the argument. Keywords क्या होते हैं हिंदी में? Keywords होते हैं वो वाले words जो कि सबसे important points highlight करते हैं मेरे पूरे page के. Don't increase your keywords more than 3 per page. The lesser, the better it is. ये keywords directly associated होंगे with your claim of the author, with your opinion of the author. The keywords will also include the positive or negative opinion the author has. Because once you know the positive or negative opinion the author has, you know exactly what the whole passage tells you. If it supports something or if it criticizes something. Like I said, IB is the best board. So my opinion is a positive one here. I'll highlight best as my keyword here because I know this is an opinion by the author. Probably it's going to lead me to the bigger picture, the argument of the author. So the keywords have to relate to the argument and not the premise. Don't deviate that there, everyone. Okay. Now, Ankita has a question. Sometimes I mark correct option as my answer, but because of my overthinking, I change my option and end up marking wrong answer. I have many close options today, Ankita. Many close options. Everyone, crash course has to be tricky, right? You've been working really hard for really long. We need to get better with that. I have many close options. So we're going to be dealing with that while we solve questions. कैसे close options eliminate करते हैं? ठीक है? Overthinking में गलत नहीं mark करना है. Okay? Per page, Sanya, if like one slide. But pure, if you talk about how many keywords should we highlight across the passage, 4 is a good picture. But depends upon how many claims the author is giving. Okay? Ananya, yes, absolutely, it will. I'm getting most marks only in those sections which I attempt first and then try a mixture, Ayushman. You still have time. You can experiment with your mocks. Mix things up. Maybe, you're leaving the theoretical part towards the end. Don't do that. Mix up sections. One mock take English and then CR, then or probably take maths in between. Do a mixture and see what works out for you. All righty, everyone. So I hope what keywords are is clear to everybody. Third, lines. We've discussed that. Lines that are the claims of the author. What are the claims? Claims are the opinions. They will directly support the argument of the author. I'm not going to be talking about that anymore right now. And the last word. ये सबसे important चीज होती है पूरे passage में. I'll reiterate. While you're reading the passage, you need to know that. And this, all of these words are addressing this. Basically, all the pointers that I've written here are in one way or the other telling you what the whole passage is about. If this works out for you, good. If this works out for you, good. Whatever works out for you, ultimately, you will know what the passage is telling us. And that will help you answer the questions correctly. Now, I am going to be giving you a paragraph and we will try to apply all of these things. We will read the paragraph simultaneously so that you know what I looked out for and we'll match it with what you looked out for. Did it align or not? So don't send me any answers to what you found in the passage, what were the keywords. Don't send me anything. You do your own technique, what works out for you. And we'll see, according to me, the important lines were these. Were you able to align those with me? There's going to be only one paragraph and the paragraph is followed by only one question and that is this. Are we ready, everyone? Will we be able to apply all of these concepts to that paragraph? Yes? Absolutely, yes, Shambhavi. Yes, Subhashini, that also works with a lot of people. Why is the author writing this passage? Answer that. Okay? We'll deal with that, Pratha, don't worry. Chalo, here we go. Mahi answer kiya bachche maine. I just answered all the chats. Don't worry. Okay? Here we go with the first paragraph. Read it with your own comfortability. Highlight lines in your own mind that you think are important. Keywords, claims, opinions, premise, argument, difference, whatever suits you. We'll do that in the exercise, Ishita. Just a minute, let me fix this issue. In the app, just a minute, I'm fixing it. I'm fixing it. Guys, in the app, I'm fixing it. Please give me a few seconds. Okay, see if what Ayushman says helps you, everyone, in the app. Alternatively, you can come on the YouTube channel if that does not work out for you. Okay. Okay, here we go. Can you send me some keywords, everyone? Or a line that's a claim? Or what do you think is the main theme? Whatever works out for you. Let me see what worked for you. The first keyword, according to me, is language, because the whole paragraph discusses language. But that's a bigger picture, right? It's a very generic term. There's a claim the author is making about language here. Were you able to find that claim? Dictionary, definition, language, how it is used. Dictionary, language. Chalo, theek hai. I'm going to read the paragraph out for you. And I will highlight a few ways in which you could locate the claim of the author. Okay. The first line says the fundamental property of language is that it is slippery, messy, more gelatinous. Slippery, messy, gelatinous mass. Are these a part of premise or claim? Actually, these are various words that are used to define how a language is used. When I say it is slippery, messy, liquid, gelatinous, does that mean it can be defined in one boundary, or it will just take any shape you put it into? It can take any shape, it will fit in. That means there is no fixed structure to it, there is no fixed shape to it. Ultimately, till this moment, I could have inferred a few things. I could have inferred that if I try to bind language into a dictionary, can I do that? I'm sure most of you have been reading contextual vocabulary questions, solving contextual vocabulary questions. You are a master of this first line by now, that every word can be used in a different context. So the first way of reading an RC effectively is, if you are unable to process exactly what the author is saying, you can try linking it to a real life scenario. Anything that's closely associated. So here, since you're doing contextual vocabulary questions, you know that one word may have multiple meanings. How is that used? We were doing one word in today's app session. We were talking about acid. Can a language be acidic? Answer that question, everyone. Can a language be acidic? Absolutely, yes. It could be. Literally, there's no acid on my tongue, but contextually, my language is bitter. Right? So, it is a contextual vocabulary. If you look at the word acid into a dictionary, it will say anything that contains acid or that is harsh to the body, inside your body. But how can language be acidic? Anything that's bitter, anything that's sharp, anything that's hurtful. So that's why what I did was I related it to a real life scenario. I imagined things that I went through, that I am dealing with right now. First line. So there's a person who reminded us usage has no sharp boundary. Of course, I can use it in any manner I want to. You can do it in any manner you want to. Oftentimes the only way, अब देखो ये जैसे ये words आ जाते हैं ना, आपको पता author बहुत ही narrow claim कर रहा है. Do you guys agree? The author says the only way to determine the meaning of a word is to examine how it is used. मतलब author का बहुत बहुत narrow claim आ रहा है और आपके लिए identify करना बहुत easy है वो claim. The claim is probably most of the words, a lot of the words can be understood only by their context and not what the dictionary definition tells us. That gives you a clear demarcation of the opinion of the author, that dictionary definitions are different, contextual usage is absolutely different. How it is used is absolutely different. This insight is often described as the meaning in use. That is how you're using, like acidic language, how you're using it. I'm using it for critical tone. There are differences between meaning in use and the dictionary. So he clearly now says, dictionary use में difference है, meaning में difference है. The dictionary is, now this is an example. Okay. Sometimes you get examples used as metaphors. Is the butterfly pinned under a glass a metaphor to explain something in the paragraph, everyone? Is, yes, or no. Is the butterfly pinned under glass a metaphor used to define something? Yes, it is. If there is a metaphor, one, there could be a question on figures of speech. Two, there could be a question on analogy, some parallel logic. That very moment when you see there's a metaphor, work on it. See क्या correlation है, क्या parallel draw कर रहा है author between the butterfly pinned under a glass and word definition to a word. Can the butterfly fly? Probably not. Is it defined? Yes, that's a definition that you see of a word in a dictionary. Probably that or something else. Figure it out. Draw an analogy between that. It will help you answer figures of speech question and critical reasoning questions as well. Very, very likely this will lead to a critical reasoning question. Right now we have only one question though. Just as the gold standard. Similarly, यहाँ भी एक और metaphor आ गया. Author ने बोला gold standard that can back a country's currency is fixed. Similarly, the dictionary definition is also fixed. But this guy found in circulation. एक बात बताओ, is this word important to note? I have pointer number 2 that you need to be careful about while you're reading an extract. Pointer number 2 is the moment you look at words, but, yet, however, although, सब भूल के उधर आओ. देखो भाई इधर एक बहुत इंपॉर्टेंट बात आ रही है. I need to know this. There's a contradiction. Contradictions पे questions 99% आते हैं, either main theme or claim based or inference based. You need to know what is the contradiction given by the author here. Forget everything, focus on that. Forget the metaphors as well. Focus on these contradictory words. So my second pointer, while you read a passage, look at contradictions. We'll practice this across the various paragraphs we do today. The guy here says that, however, a free-floating currency of meaning. He says when you give contextual meaning to a word, it's a free-floating currency. It's not like a gold standard to back a country's currency which is fixed. It's a free-floating. The meaning of words are free-floating. That is the currency you give to the meaning of a word. That automatically tells us that the meaning of the words cannot be defined. It cannot take a specific shape. The same thing that was claimed in the very first line. The value of each word arises out of exchange, usage. The lexicographer, नहीं पता lexicographer क्या फर्क पड़ता है? Doesn't matter. Move on. By the way, that's a person who curates a dictionary. Nonetheless, it doesn't matter if you don't know the meaning of it. Move on. Just find the claim. Somebody abstracts a meaning from that exchange, finds the meaning, which is then set with the conventions of the dictionary definition. So, I hope by now you know how to read an extract. We learned from one of the paragraphs. Had I not explained this, you might have got the question wrong. You should get it right now. What's your main theme of the passage? Read the 4 options and answer that right now. That is Shambhavi, absolutely. That's what reading mindfully does to you. Everyone in the app as well. बताओ मुझे आंसर क्या है? Main theme. See? Unanimously see. सबका सही हो गया. See? Now see, if I had not explained the paragraph, you might think, ये तो बोला है ना author ने. ये बोला है, right? That dictionary definitions are like gold standards. They're fixed, artificial, theoretical, dogmatic. Dogmatic is rigid. You can't change the definition. Actual meaning of the word is free exchange value, how you use them. You could have marked A, but while you did the passage in depth, you focused on the claims, you focused on the contradictions, you knew that the meaning is dynamic and definitions are static. There is a direct comparison between definition and meaning that comes with usage. And it clearly tells us the direct difference the author had mentioned. It's a big picture. I've reiterated big picture multiple times. Definition is static, correct. I've reiterated it multiple times. Okay, Pratha, yes, I think I should do that. Here you go. Okay? So, yes, C, A is a premise, whereas C is your claim. So I hope everyone gets it. Now I'm going to give you one more paragraph, a similar one, and we'll do a main theme based question again. But before I go ahead, I want all of you to hit the like button. It works vice versa, right? You get some learning and I get something in return. I have 90 people watching me live right now on YouTube. I've got 52 likes. It doesn't work like that, my kids. It's a Guru Dakshina you're going to give me for a free session that you're attending. Go ahead and do that. Thank you if you've done that already. Bird's eye view. अच्छा बच्चे अभी भी आपको लग रहा है ना ये bird's eye view क्या बोल रही है मैम, ये big picture क्या बोल रही है मैम, एक बार मेरे main theme based videos देख लेना. You still have time to do that, okay? All right, everyone. Here we go. Next paragraph. Read it with your own understanding, with your own conscience, with your own theory that works for you. But remember, we could do it keeping these 4 pointers in mind. Differentiating between premise and argument, finding keywords, the main words, looking at the claim of the author, looking at contradictions, and if unable to understand anything, relating it to real life examples. Here you go. Okay, Pranjali. Ashna, please increase the resolution of your screen. Everyone in the app, do that. Click on settings and do that. Alrighty, everyone. If you're confident, you stay quiet. Because there are many people live. If you're confident, stay quiet. People who are confused, can you pick up a line that you think is the claim of the author? We have a clear line here in the paragraph. That's the claim of the author. You can clearly differentiate between the argument and the premise here. Which line is that? People who are confused should answer. Can you elucidate that, Titiksha? Okay. Absolutely yes, Ananya. Which line is your claim? There's a clear line. Can you identify the line, everyone? I can actually pay you, Kitu, for the work you're doing. It's the, yes, Alia. It's the very first line. That's your claim. कैसे पता लगा? देखो, everyone. The early optimism about sports deterrent effects on wrongdoing was premature. Is that what I believe in? You may say, or the researchers who did this research about sports deterrent effect on wrongdoing, they might disagree. They might say, no, this is not premature. Dude, we worked so hard. We found so much of data. But the author says, no, this is premature. You say something to me, I might say, कितना immature claim है ये? ये मेरा opinion है. You might say, no, ma'am, according to my age, it is not immature. This line is the opinion of the author. So your reminder to look for opinions. What are opinions? Words that are variable between people to people. One might agree to it, other might disagree to it. Calling something as premature, one person might agree to it, the author does. The people who did this research might disagree with. The entire paragraph explains why the author thinks that this entire correlation between sports deterrent effect on wrongdoing is incorrect. The whole paragraph is a premise. This line is your argument. How do you know that? Calling the research short term. Also tell us why this claim was wrong. It was premature. Because it was short term. It was problematic. It was multiple other things. It could not be disentangled from the class. All of these are reasons. Reasons subset to support a bigger picture that the correlation between sports deterrent effects on wrongdoing was probably not done correctly, was concluded before time. This conclusion needed more research. This conclusion needed more effort, more time, which the researchers did not give. Yes, Titiksha. Vague accumulation of data by early researchers in terms for wrongdoing. Rahul, correct. Correct, everyone. Yes, that's the first line. Of course, that is, Subhashini, a pretty vague one. Beginning from the correlation. ठीक है. अनुपम, देखो, जब नहीं समझ में आता ना, ये हिंदी में समझा रही हूं मैं, जब नहीं समझ में आता कि ये लाइन भी क्या बोल रही है, तो उसको ब्रेक करके देखते हैं एक बार, क्योंकि क्लेम बहुत इंपॉर्टेंट होता है. बाकी सब कुछ अपने आप will fall into place. So, early optimism, early positive belief about sports deterrent effect, negative effect on wrongdoing. That automatically means the author is saying that people who play sports do more wrong things in the society. The author says it's wrong. He explains why is this wrong. In a nutshell, that's what the passage is about. Do you want to answer the main theme question now? ठीक है? Lag? I don't think so. ठीक है? Here you go. What's your answer? Let's see if you get this correct, everyone. So easy. Anupam, in such a case, you need to figure out if the conclusion is a subset or the main set. That theory will work for a lot of times. If it is supporting the first line or if the first line is supporting the last line. Unanimous answer. The correct answer is a C. Yeah, it is a C. Yes, 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 absolutely yes. It is a C. Okay, I'll not explain this now because I've already explained the paragraph. And now the last question. This is not the last question for the class. Last small paragraph question. Then we will apply all this theory to a longer passage. So the last question, I will not explain anything. You read the paragraph and then you tell me the answer in the next page. Here you go, everyone. Just apply the theory that I taught you. Related to real life scenarios. Related to the claim of the author and not the premise. Find out the argument, find out the keywords, look for contradictory words. Remember all this and read this paragraph. अनन्या, तब ऐसे में ये टेक्निक्स अपनाओ ब्रेक करके पैराग्राफ को सॉल्व करने की. Send me a done once you're done, everyone. All right, Gauri. Others? ऐप में आंसर बताइए सब लोग. CBD. चलो पहले में ही सारा ABCD चारों आ गए. भाई साहब, तुमने ना मेरी नाक कटवानी है जाके क्लैट में. I thought I did a good job explaining how to read a paragraph. चारों ऑप्शन आ गए. ठीक है भाई. Let's reread the paragraph. Privacy challenged office workers may find it hard to believe, but open plan offices and cubicles were invented by architects and designers who thought that to break down social walls that divide people, you had to break down real walls. People, architects, designers who created offices without basically no cubicles. Those architects thought that if you want to bring in democracy, if you want to break the wall that divides people, you need to break the walls inside offices. So they thought, why give a personal room to anyone? Let's just allow everyone to work in the open. Now, if you've seen any of these co-working places that have popped up across the country, you must have seen they're just tables and chairs and workspaces, and everyone is working everywhere. Are these enclosed spaces? They aren't. Why did I give you this example? You could have thought of it, linking it to a real life scenario. I'm sure you must have visited banks. You must have visited offices, your parents' offices. How approachable is that manager in the SBI cabin sitting inside? He's not. But if the manager sits out in the open, how approachable is he then? Pretty much. That's the idea architects and designers used. To break the walls that divide people, you break the real walls in the office. But privacy challenged office workers may find hard to believe this. Is this line a claim that office workers who go to the office now think that their privacy is challenged? The SBI manager might think, भाई मेरा privacy कहाँ है? मैं manager हूँ. मुझे privacy चाहिए. मुझे ये चार दीवार के अंदर एक table और chair चाहिए. मेरा privacy तो compromised है. But the reason is mentioned here. But the reason is mentioned here. ठीक है? अच्छा कोई question आया है? Yes, correct. ठीक है? चलो आगे देखते हैं. Modernist architects saw walls and rooms as downright fascist. So they said, we don't need any fascism. We need democracy. Just remove, get rid of these walls. Let's make it spacious and flexible and an open plan where everyone can go to anyone, roam around. Such a good idea, right? Who would not want to work for an office like that? Unless and until you start feeling your privacy is being challenged. Nonetheless, he said, let's make a plan that's open, that's accessible for everyone. फिर आया but. इसका मतलब ये जो आइडिया था ना कि स्पेशियस होना चाहिए, फास्टेस्ट नहीं होना चाहिए, फ्लेक्सिबल होना चाहिए, ओपन प्लान होना चाहिए, ये सब भूल जाओ. तुम बहुत पढ़ाई करते हो, ये सब भूल जाओ. बट नंबर नहीं आता, ये याद रखो. तो ये प्लान था कि फ्लेक्सिबिलिटी होनी चाहिए, ओपन प्लान से सब भूल जाओ. बट companies took up their idea less out of a democratic ideology. They did not believe into democracy. They said, let's pack as many people as we could into this space. If I make cubicles, I could probably only accommodate 6 people. But if I remove the boundary, this office can pack in 20 people. Let's put in as many people as possible. Chairs, 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 back to back. One bench, 10 chairs. They said, let's pack in as many workers as they could. Now, who is making the undue advantage of these cubicle-less offices? The companies. This but is so important here. Right? Kitu, are you Krishna? Okay? So, the typical open plan office of the first half of the 20th century was a white-collared assembly line. Cubicles bane hue the. But people said, let's get rid of the cubicles. Nonetheless, it was only a reiteration of this line. Why architects made a cubicle-less office. Do you want to change your answer, everyone? Do you want to redo your answer? By the way, where's my chat? Prathamesh, you've got that absolutely correct at one go. Now, how did you get that correct? You got that correct because you found the correct claim, the correct opinion of the author. The correct answer is B. Let's see how we eliminate the closed options here. Wall-free office spaces did not quite work. It actually did. For the employers, it did. It did not work out as desired, and therefore cubicles came into being. Currently, we don't have any cubicles. Cubicles were an old-fashioned thing. Currently, there are wall-free office spaces, but it isn't working as it was planned. So the second half makes it wrong. Wall-free office spaces did not quite work out as companies don't believe in democratic ideology. No, they still believe into it, but they say, put in more people. That's the claim. Exploit more people. Let's rob them of their privacy. Wall-free office spaces could have worked out the way their utopian inventors, the architects, intended had companies cared for their workers' satisfaction. Is workers' satisfaction at all being discussed? वर्कर का पॉइंट ऑफ व्यू बिल्कुल मायने नहीं रखता है. क्या मैटर करता है? एम्प्लॉयर का ओपिनियन. I want more people inside this office, right? So this second half makes it incorrect. B is the correct answer. Exactly. But remember, democracy is actually not the claim. What the claim is what comes after, but as I said, you might be studying really hard. We need to convert it into marks. But what is more important is conversion of your hard work into marks. So the second half becomes important, always. So what the idea was is secondary. What is primary is how we can convert, how we can fix in more people. That's why the line about democracy is actually an incorrect one, है ना? अब ऐसा करते हैं, एक बार लाइक बटन को हिट कर देते हैं, है ना, और शेयर कर देते हैं. I'm sure there are so many people a part of so many Telegram groups. If you haven't subscribed to the channel, do that right now. And we are going to be doing one passage now. I will not explain anything. I want you to read the passage and then answer the questions that follow. Ready, everyone? We haven't done a lot today. So let's do a passage. Ready, everyone? Yes, no? Send me an answer very, very quickly. Go grab a glass of water, everybody. Rush to the washroom if you wish to. ठीक है? चलो, here we go. Don't do this, you'll get confused. Do the second one. We have a test series for CLAT 24 aspirants. Comes for a very nominal cost. If you haven't registered yourself for that, do that right away. We have barely 30 days left and we have more than 30 mocks to do. You have too much to do. Rush up and do that right now. Read the page and send me. Done, everybody. Claim of the author. Private Seema. Pranjali, you do this very carefully. What's your answer? Should you go back to the passage to find an answer to this? I'll not answer that part. I'll save my answer here. Garima, correct. Do you need to go back to the passage to answer this question? Should you go back? Oh, yes, you should. You should. Because, if you remember it correctly, fine, but there are so many things. You might not remember them absolutely crystal clear if you are somebody who did not like biology. In such a case, if you know exactly where the pointers are mentioned, it's about the paragraph that talks about dog walking, right? You can easily find your answer there. It's written right here in the first paragraph. You can go through this very quickly. I'll take you back to the options again. That's an example of how to get factual questions correct. You know where it is, go back to reconfirm the answer. You'll know exactly the pointers mentioned. Yeah. So you actually better be safe than sorry. So it says developmental factors including epigenetics, antibodies, hormone, as well as ecological legacies and culture. Okay? So genetic, epigenetics, developmental factors, ecological legacies. A is your answer. Factual one, always go back to reconfirm it. Will take you a few seconds, but will save you a score. Question number 2. Let's see if you got this. No, Seema. No issue. A? Everyone? Unanimously? क्या बात है? I did not think you would get it so easily. Can you thank me? I'll be glad. I'll have a good night's sleep. The answer is A. Absolutely. Undoubtedly. It's proving Darwin's theory of natural selection partly incorrect because there are other things. Now, if you did not get this, remember there was an example given to you. In most of the tricky passages, you'll have an example. उस एग्जाम्पल को ना अच्छे से समझ लो कि उस माइस के एग्जाम्पल में क्या हुआ. पुअर माइस hates almonds now, but nonetheless उसका जो उसने गिव अप किया था अपनी लाइफ में almonds, we have got something to learn out of it, है ना. So उसके compromise से you can understand that Darwin's theory of natural selection is actually, it cannot justify a lot of things because there could be multiple leashes pulling it in every direction like the dogs would pull you. And we can't come to an answer. There are multiple factors. A is your correct answer. Okay? Yes, dog wala example. Others are premise. Absolutely, yes. Okay? Chaliye, next question. This is tricky. Let me see if you get this. Yes, Parth. One that shows a mixture of both. Have you done this passage before? How can you be so correct? What will I do then? The answer is A. It is A. You're also going to have a good night's sleep. It's acquired characteristics like we fear water. God knows what happened with our ancestors. है ना? It's not personality trait, absolutely. But why not D? The theory of the mice spoke of fear of the almonds. Why not D? D is a very close option. गरिमा तुम कहाँ कमेंट कर रहे हो ऐप में भी और why is D wrong? Basically, D is a subset to this. Fear, happiness, love, all of these, the bigger picture is signs of acquired characteristics. This is just a premise supporting this. Right? So, subset ho gaya. Thank you, everyone. Next question. Critical reasoning question. I hope that's clear now, Prathamesh. This one is easy, by the way. You can get this correct. Answers. See? C, B, C. One person said B, बाकी सब का आंसर C है. ठीक है. Okay. Question पे आते हैं. Which of the following, if found to be true, would negate the main message of the passage? A study affirming the sole influence. We just criticized this. We said, no, Darwin, you're wrong. Natural selection is not the only thing that influences behavior and characteristics in people. But on the contrary, you said this is the sole influence. Absolutely narrow word. आते ही आपको पता आप oppose कर रहे हो argument को. In the previous question, we saw the argument. Here we see the opposition to it. C is your answer. B says a study highlighting the criticality of epigenetic inheritance. यहाँ criticality does not mean you're finding flaws. यहाँ criticality means importance. So this line says a study that highlights the importance of epigenetic inheritance. The paragraph also does that. The same thing. He says epigenetic inheritance in evolution is very, very important. B also says the same thing. It supports the claim of the author. Okay. So B cannot be the correct answer here. All right. Okay. Next question. And that's your homework, everyone. I've just passed the slide. You can, after the class ends, read the question. You need to tell me the central idea of the passage. The options are there in the next screen. And your timeline is next half an hour. I'll be up. I'll be waiting for your answers. The answers have to be in the comment section under my video. In the next half an hour, I'll be revealing the correct answer to it. You can revisit the video, pause the video at this moment, read the paragraph as per your convenience. These are the options. Bigger than the paragraph is. Let me make your life a little messier and give you something to think about while you go off to sleep. And make sure you answer under the video in the comment section in the next half an hour, everyone, okay? Our comprehensive course for CLAT 25 aspirants is live. That's the number of our counselors. Call them. Our All India third mock open analysis happens on our YouTube channel on 4th of November, 11 a.m. Don't miss out on that. Learn how to score more across all sections. That's the schedule for the upcoming days. Tomorrow, Nivedita ma'am's. Day after tomorrow, Ankur sir's. 5th, Surajit sir, and 6th, Salik sir's class. All till 25th November, every day, 9 p.m. So, of course, oh my God, he just reminded me the exam is right here. I'll be waiting for your answers, everyone. Make sure you like the video. Make sure you subscribe to our channel. Have a very good evening. Good night. God bless you.